Hi everyone, Dietitian Libby is back with an interview with a dietetic intern today. So if you want to hear about what it's like to be in a dietetic internship during the COVID-19 pandemic, stay tuned. Hi everyone. Again, I'm Registered Dietitian Libby Parker, and today I have Lauren Thomas with me, who has been an intern with me for 2 weeks. Welcome, Lauren.
Hi.
I'm so glad you're here doing this video with me today. It's been an interesting ride this year. You've had to do a lot of your last couple months of your internship mostly online, which is crazy. And so I think that's a really fun, or not fun, but unique point of view that you can share with everyone what you've been going through. Before we get into that, in case our viewers don't know what it takes to become a dietitian because you're at the final stage right before you take your test, can you just tell everyone what the steps are to become a registered dietitian?
Yeah, so the first step is to be accepted to a university that has a bachelor's program in nutrition, and then you take all of the classes designated to allow you to apply and be accepted to an internship. And then you go through the acceptance process, many steps through that. You're accepted to an internship. You complete 1,200 hours. Currently, due to the coronavirus, they cut it to 1,000. So 1,000 hours of supervised practice, which is like residency basically. And then you sit and you take your exam to be a registered dietitian.
Yeah. It is an arduous process having gone through it. So when you're working with a dietitian, know that you've got someone with a lot of education behind those credentials. And Lauren's right at the final stage. So after this week, I believe you're eligible for your RD exam, right?
Yeah,
That's so
just gotta
cool.
study.
Yay. Okay, so I think the thing that's going to be really unique to tell our viewers about is what is it to be an intern during the COVID-19 pandemic. This is so different than your typical dietetic internship.
Yeah, it's been really interesting. I think going back to the middle of March, I was in the middle of my clinical rotation. I was just about to finish it up, and Cal Poly said, "You guys it is not safe for you to be returning back to sites." So we started working from home, and from then on, we've had the opportunity to work from home, create a whole new routine. We've had lots of alternative learning assignments, whether that be simulations or case studies. And then we actually have had the opportunity to work with quite a few dietitians that we might not have been able to. And that's been a really good silver lining. I think the dietetics community has really come out of the woodworks and say, hey, I know you guys are struggling during this time, but I have some work for you guys to do, and you guys can really still make an impact in our field. And that's what we all kind of did. We kind of just stepped up and did what needed to be done, and it's been okay. It's been very different, and every week is new, and our director's been amazing and helping us navigate the waters. But we finished, so that's something I'll always look back at and know that we were dietetic interns during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm. I can't even imagine, like, just the amount of hands-on patient care that you normally would have during the internship. And just, I don't know, I just remember going to all the different sites and having all these things to do, and to be trying to do that all from home. I think that's something that's really cool about, this era of time, is that we can do a lot of things online. Like, my whole business has shifted online during this time. But to try to fit in all of the different opportunities, that has to have been a huge challenge. So.
Yeah, we've had, I was fortunate that a lot of my clinical and food service rotations were already finished prior to the pandemic, so I really only had a couple community sites. But for other interns, they did miss out on some of those things. But whether that means we just finish hours later on in the summer, or the last few weeks, we've actually been allowed to go back to sites if deemed essential workers, which dietetic professionals are, which is important to know. So we've made it work. It kind of, you just kind of take a different turn on it. And whether it's using telehealth for counseling sessions or charting virtually, you are able to make it happen.
Yeah. It's one of the great things about our field is that there's so many opportunities. And along that lines, I'd love to ask, what do you think is next for you? What are your passions in the field? What are you hoping for jobs? Like, what are you envisioning your future as a dietitian like?
So I have a background in culinary arts, and so I am a trained chef. And so for me, going into this profession was how can I teach people how to cook and create a healthy relationship with food while still understanding how important food is for our health and food is medicine. So I went through the internship and had experienced so many different pathways and found that I really liked a wide variety of areas. But then during the pandemic, I had more time to focus in, okay, what really was my favorite? And that went back to working in the kitchen and being with food. So I have a passion for school food nutrition. So hopefully, I would like to be a school food service director one day. So that I think is where I'm going to try and start. But I'm interested in long term care as well. I really like anything where I can create long lasting relationships with clients. And I think you can do that with little ones, teaching them how to create those relationships with food when they're young and they can build those throughout their life. But also with an older population, you're able really to bring them back into the joy of eating and what those things can be like towards the end of your life. And I think nutrition can play a role all through the life cycle. So I think it's exciting. I'm not really sure where it takes me, but we'll find out.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to think about it too, is you don't know where you're officially going to end up, but it's good to know what you love and what you don't like as well. And that's definitely help shape your career. So that's so cool. And I know just from working with you that you're destined for great things with this. So I'm very optimistic for your future.
Thank you.
But with all of that, do you have any advice for future dietetic interns?
Yeah. So one thing I learned going through the internship is really to expect the unexpected and to be okay with change and really be adaptable. And then also really make those connections with your preceptors and know that they're going to be there for you when you're done with your 4 week rotation. I think those are really important things to create because you're networking and you're going to be always be able to talk on those things in job interviews, and it'd be great to have those people in your life consistently. Another thing is really just to make sure that you are open to learning new things that may be different from what you learned in your undergraduate degree. And we talk about, especially with you, Libby, like health at every size and intuitive eating and really creating that all foods fits philosophy. Well, that might not have been something that you learned in undergrad, and that's okay. It's still research based and you can grow on all those things. I think really just being open and having that mindset of all these opportunities can come your way. And you may think that you wanted to do one thing when you start the internship, and that totally will change as you go through, and then you may come back to that, and that's totally fine too. That's what the internship year is for.
100%. Yes. There's so many things that you barely touch on in school that the internship opens your eyes to. So that's great.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts or words of wisdom?
Um, I don't think so. I really enjoyed my time with you, and working with clients with eating disorders has been really eye opening for me as well, and something that I think all dietetic interns should be exposed to at some point.
Awesome. Well, it's been a pleasure having you, Lauren. Thanks so much for coming on and doing this video as well. Hopefully, we'll inspire some more future dietitians with this. And I'll definitely be posting an update in the comments or description below this video as to when you pass your RD exam, because we know that's coming very soon.
Yay!
Well, thank you. And everyone, please make sure that you click that subscribe button below and the little bell icon to be notified when the next videos are coming out. we're finishing up season 3 very shortly and probably moving on to a podcast version of this. So please stay tuned for that. Make sure you're subscribed so you get notifications as to when that change is happening.